I am excited to walk you through setting up a role play, kind of what to expect here. I've already started building out that training framework. I have a couple modules that come before that role play just to make sure I'm preparing reps and giving them all the necessary information and training prior to them applying that information to the role play. So I have leadership overview. I have a guide so they understand how to handle the objection and what the messaging is for that objection, what good looks like. And then here's where they start mapping out the objection in their own words. They get their thoughts on paper. They practice it in our pitch module, one directional. And then once they have all that practice and information, they apply it to the role play. Now, setting up a role play is really easy. We break it up for you in 3 chunks. We have our pre-role play. This is where you write in those rep-facing instructions. We have our during role play. This is where you really develop that role play experience and define that scenario, the meat of it all. Then you have the post role play. So as we start mapping it out, we make it really easy and we guide you through that setup process. So starting with the pre-role play, we just have, like I said, that rep-facing instructions. We even give you a quick example here if you need inspiration. You can attach any resources. These are supplementary resources a rep can preview prior to the role play and refresh really quickly before they dive right in. And then we go to the during role play. Like I said, this is really the meat of it all when it comes to building out that role play. And we map it out for you start to finish. So starting at the top, we have various languages that you can select the role play. So obviously we're doing English, but there's a variety of different languages that you can choose from. And we have user persona. Now you might hear me refer to the user throughout my demo today. When I say the user, I'm really talking about your reps, the users that are going through this experience. So we're mapping out who the users or who your reps are. And then we get to the fun part. This is where you really build out the role play and what their persona is. You can come up with a name, the job title. We've really diversified the different avatars you can select from. So that way you can kind of different personas for different use cases of role plays that you're sending your reps through. And it just adds a little bit more of a dynamic element for the role play and a fresh new face to be chatting with as your role plays are assigned out to your users. Not only do we have different avatars, we have different voices, which is fun. So we have both male and female voices, and you can preview them.
Hi, who am I speaking to?
So it's kind of fun. There's a variety of different ones.
Hi, who am I speaking to?
So it's great. You can kind of preview all the different ones. I'm going to start with Shimmer because that's a fun one. So once you kind of mapped out the persona and how you want them to look and how you want them to sound and their title and their name, then we really jump into the scenario. This is where you're building and defining what that role play experience will look like for your users when they're talking back and forth with the role play. So a quick, easy formula, like I mentioned before, we already have a quick little example for you to refer to. But a quick formula is the user's role, the role play's role, some context about the role play, maybe their industry they work in, what problems they're trying to solve, any additional context, and then the user's goal. Follow that formula really quickly, about 4 to 5 sentences will get you where you need to be for a high quality role play with a scenario that's clearly defined. As we're thinking about the specific skill we're targeting in this role play, we're going to target objection handling. Here in the interactions, we can get more specific and granular with what we want the role play to be saying throughout the role play experience, starting with that opening statement when the rep hits start role play. This is the first statement that the role play says to your user. And then you can start mapping out additional guidelines for the conversation. You can see I have both a question and an objection. You can pick which one or whatever combo. And since we're focusing on objection handling, I've selected an objective that I really want our reps to be focused on for this specific role play. Now you can have more than one objection. You can have more than one question. It depends on how you want to set it up, but this is the opportunity to provide parameters of what you want the role play to be saying and integrate this into the conversational flow with the rep. Now, when we're thinking about the reps coming out of the role play, what are we providing them in terms of coaching? This is where the AI coaching feedback guidance comes into play. The rep has finished the role play and they have not only feedback and coaching, but they also have scores. So they have clearly defined understanding of how well they performed during the role play, but they also can understand what the expectations are and where those areas of improvements are for those specific skills that they're tackling, like handling an objection. So starting from the top, we have that overall feedback. This is just general feedback on the rep's overall performance that you can tailor. And then when we're thinking about drilling down and getting more specific and targeting those skills, you can see that objection that I implemented in the guidelines during role play has an area for me to give guidelines for how I want that feedback to be structured. So the rep handles the objection, they click submit, they get feedback on it, and you can tailor what that feedback experience looks like and says in this section when you're building it. That's the way we're really intentional with our reps. They're getting the coaching, everything's on message and aligned to your methodology, and you can ensure that there's consistency with the coaching across all of your reps. They also have the scoring. So the scoring is really simple to break out. You can see I have two different pieces to my rubric. Super easy. I can come in here, title, description, where I'm like maybe outlining a little bit more detail of this skill. And then here's where you build out the rubric and the success criteria that gets a user to 100%. You can select a 3-point scale, pass fail, 4 or 5 point scale, so you have some flexibility, and you can mix and match depending on what your priorities for that rubric are. So here I have a 3-point scale for objection handling, pass or fail for value articulation. We don't just have AI scoring available, we also give managers the opportunity to come in and provide any grades. You can pull subject matter experts in there and provide grades. That way, you're getting immediate feedback and grading for the reps right away after they finish the role play. And then you come over top with managers, subject matter experts coming in and also providing feedback and grading for the reps on your team. So you get both layers, but reps no longer have to wait around. Managers can come and grade asynchronously. Regardless, reps have a clear understanding of the expectations. They have coaching available for them. They understand what the grading is, and they can monitor and adjust their talk tracks and really zero in on their skills of objection handling with the right information without having to wait.